We're live. There we
So
are.
I'm here with Brent Daniels. He's got a great YouTube channel. If you guys have never seen it, I started watching this one recently. He's got his shirt on, TTP,
That's
and it's
right.
Brent Daniels Talk to People. And so his motto is talk to people, and a lot of it is about calling people. He cold calls people,
That's right.
right?
Yep.
He does it for real estate deals. He looks up people doing skip tracing, is my understanding, and getting data like I do for land
Yeah.
from the counties, publicly accessible data. Let's see if I can fix this a little bit. Publicly accessible data about real estate, and searching those people out, finding their contact information,
Yep.
and actually calling them. I
Yep.
send him letters, he calls them. And so I'm meeting him here in the park. It's a little park by my house. You can see a little park in the background. And so if people come up to us, whatever, that's what's going on. We're in a
Yeah.
public place.
Dogs run up. We have to pet them or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
exactly. And so I wanted to, I just met him here in the park, and I wanted to share notes with Brent Daniels
Yep.
about, because we're in the same business, but we approach it differently. So hi Dan, Dan's chiming in. So one of the guys just
Nice.
coming on. If you have questions, throw them up. I think we'll see them on the screen. We'll try to answer questions if that's
Yeah.
okay with you.
Yeah.
But I think
You're great.
mainly we wanted to talk to each other and share information. What's your YouTube channel?
Just Brent Daniels Real Estate. Check that out. And I've got a simple philosophy, guys. It's really simple. I don't care if it's vacant land. I don't care if it's properties. Hey, Dan. I when I say properties, what I mean is distressed property owners, distressed, and that could be houses, that could be land, that could be whatever it is. I think that the key to sourcing the biggest and best deals in our industry,
Yeah.
hey Ryan, is to have quality conversations with distressed property owners. Now it's a little bit different when you're doing land, and we have been doing a bunch of vacant land as well in our markets in Arizona. So this will be an
Yeah.
interesting conversation. But the it all comes down to having that quality conversation with the distressed property owner to understand, will they actually do business with you?
Exactly.
Will they actually complete and sign the deeds, right?
Yeah.
Will they go through and complete the transaction, or are they just wasting your time, right? Now you send out a lot of letters,
Yeah.
you get them to sign the contract right away.
Yeah.
Do you ever have, and this is a question I had for you, when you get a contract, because this is something that's happened to us, you get a contract, you reach out to them to get it closed. Do you
Yeah.
ever have them just disappear?
Yeah, they go ghost all the time. I mean, they go ghost, or they sign with my dollar amount on there and the terms and everything, and then they say they want more money.
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
their wife's involved, or their brother, their cousin, their some third party, something that I can't really talk to. Revert to a higher power thing that I like to use, but they use that on me,
Yeah.
and I can't close the deal. But I mean, I get a lot of deals, and so I go through a lot of them, and I mean, I close a lot of them. I kick to the side because I'm sending out these offers in a massive way, and so some of them I don't want. Right? I don't want those deals.
Right.
They're the land that's just the swamp or whatever. Like, you don't want them
On the cliff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
of course they
Yeah.
accepted my offer.
Right.
But so with those and the people that go ghost, I mean, I maybe take not 15, probably less than 10% of them
Okay.
actually go all the way through and happen,
Got it.
of the ones that come back. And other ones I'll try
10%
to,
of the people that sign contracts with you and send them back?
I think 10% of the ones that I accept. Let me take that back.
Got it.
About 10%
Yeah.
of the ones that
Yeah.
that they accept and I accept
Oh, that's great to know.
actually really close.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong with title, something goes wrong with all the paperwork that we sign somewhere in between. Like, they don't end up signing it all. They don't show up to signings. They don't follow through. They weren't serious, really serious about selling the property
Yeah.
when they signed the contract with me
I
in
get
the
it.
first place. Which is, I go through so much volume. It's okay. I'm not chasing them down or going after them or anything. It's just part of the business, right?
Got it. Yeah. Well, that's been interesting because, coming from wholesaling houses side of thing to this land, you know, when they sign, I mean, we're in constant communication with
Yeah,
them. If they get wiggly or if they're not answering, we're like, oh my gosh, what's going on, right? Because we average in these wholesaling, we average $27,000 a deal. So
nice.
these are like very, I mean,
Yeah,
you want to make sure that the customer service is there, the communication is
yeah,
open, and you're following it all the way down. It sounds like to me you go volume when it comes to the vacant land, and just take that 10% that makes
yeah.
sense and that are going to work with you.
Just cherry pick it,
Yeah,
cream of the crop stuff.
interesting.
I could be a lot better. I know I should be better at communicating with these people, going back and forth with them, keeping them on the hook, saying it's coming, it's coming. Okay, it's here, here it is. Sign, sign, sign. Okay, okay, we're done, done. Thank you, thank you. You know, the whole way through the process. Um, I get tired. There's too many of them. Like,
You get
I get,
tired.
yeah,
Well, how much of it are you doing yourself, and how much, like, what are your daily? You do the due diligence, right? We talked
yeah.
about you did
I
some of
do
the title.
a lot of due diligence,
You do the.
and
Are you doing a lot of the disposition as well? I mean, are you reviewing all the buyers and who's buying in that?
yeah, I
Okay,
am.
so you do a lot of it.
I do a lot of it. I do. It's
It's incredible you do the amount that you do. You know,
yeah,
I
but
mean
I've
that's
been trying to shore up the numbers and get to better quality, and target more of your kinds of spreads,
yep,
right?
yep.
Like my spreads aren't like that between the buy and the sell. One guy was just going by and saying Luke's got the best price. Yeah, I got really good price stuff. I mean, a lot of my sales
Hmm.
pitches are the cheapest land in this county, the cheapest land in this state, the cheapest land in this valley, the cheapest land in this area. So I usually end up with the cheapest, not just the cheapest, but the cheapest stuff that's passed my muster of being qualifying land
Yeah,
that I'd want to buy,
yeah,
and sell. And I still make mistakes. I mean, just make mistakes. You
yeah.
know, sometimes the properties turn out to be a wetlands or something, but I didn't think it was when there's houses right next door on the same kind of ground.
Well, I think
Um,
the due diligence is absolute. I mean, if you're there on price and you've got somebody that's willing to communicate with you and willing to take the steps to actually close the
yeah,
deal, I think just the missing piece, at least when I was starting this, was, is this deal, like, what can you do with this property? Is this
yeah,
useless land? Is this something that somebody's going to find
mhm,
valuable? Will only the neighbor buy it, or can
yeah,
I sell it to like a broader market? You know what I mean? I think that all factors in.
yeah. There's, I don't think people realize that there's always a price that this stuff
Yeah,
sells at. It's not like it's a zero. Even
yeah,
when it's the cliffside, no access, the middle of nowhere. I mean, I could probably know phone numbers of people that want to buy that land.
yeah.
I mean, they want to buy it because they want to dig into the side of the hill. Like I had one guy, father and son team, who were into pyrotechnics in LA,
Yeah.
you know, for movies. That
Yeah.
was their
Yeah.
business, like making the car flip and turn the right way, right?
Yeah.
Um, and they wanted one of those cliffside properties, and they reached out to me, and I didn't have one in inventory for them at the time, but they reached out to me because the real estate agents wouldn't provide it to them. They wouldn't deal in it. Nobody would even present those kinds of properties to
Mm-hmm.
them.
Mm-hmm.
And they said no access is even better because they don't want anybody coming to tell them they can't play with their dynamite and all the
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
explosives they're playing with on this
Yeah.
property. You
It's
know, it's
crazy.
like, here you go. I had one that I was going to turn down,
Yeah.
but I showed it to them. They wanted it. I did the paperwork. Here you go. They were so happy. So, you know, there's always people
So
out there
is
like
that,
that.
when you look at specific unique properties like that, is that something that you go, oh, I have something here I haven't closed on, but I will, and give it to these guys if they want
Yeah,
it? Or is that something that you're like, I'll close on it because it's such a good deal, and if it takes me years to sell it to the
yeah,
pyrotechnics guy in
I
LA?
know,
But I
right? Like,
mean, I would assume that you would say, okay, wait, let me look around for these type of things. Okay, here's the contract that I think
yeah,
would fit you guys. What do you guys think? They commit to it, and then you commit to it.
I rarely do that.
Okay,
It's more of
you close first.
I close
Got it.
first,
Yep.
either with my own money or investors' money, and just make it clean and get it up for sale,
Yeah.
and then see what happens. Maybe I have to lower the price a bunch to get it gone. Like I like to say, get it gone.
Yeah.
But
That's it.
yeah,
It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you watch the price there.
yeah,
You make sure it's nothing crazy.
yeah,
That if you have to hold it for years, that's
yeah.
fine. right?
You look at the holding costs. Like, it doesn't have some nutty HOA fee
Right.
or some crazy taxes of some kind.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you look at that, and you look at what else is for sale in the area.
Yeah.
You know, if the property's the cheapest thing in the area is 20 grand, and you're buying this for 2 grand,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's got ugly warts and stuff to it, you could probably sell it for 4 or 6,
Yeah.
and still be at, a quarter of the market or something.
Yeah.
And somebody will probably come along and go for it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more people that look at the cheapest property in the market than that's where you should start out, right?
Yeah.
You look at it and you say, okay, this is too weird for me. I'll pay more for something better.
Mm-hmm.
But more people look at those properties
Mm-hmm.
than any of the others.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So let me tell you this. It's just switching tracks, and this is interesting, people out there, because I think that the industry, whoever you go with, if it's Land Academy, if it's any of the other kind of coaches or mentorship programs, it's direct mail, right? You either send a letter that says, "Hey, I'm interested," or you send the offer and you snag them, right? Well, I've been cold calling these for the now. This is interesting since the last time we talked. So I've been on vacation here in Solana Beach, which is literally 3 miles from his house, which has been awesome. And I've had my cold callers. So I have 4 Americans living in Costa Rica. Okay. And they're calling what I would call on the bubble properties, right? Or you might call path of progress, like that 45-minute bubble outside of town, right? And usually we get about half to 0.75 leads per hour. Now that's kind of weird. About a lead per hour when it comes to houses.
With a person or 4 of them?
With per person.
Per person. Okay.
So this just within 4 hours of my people calling, each 1 hour, because I was just testing out, 60 people said yes to offers on their property. 60 people. Now, of course, when you go through it, I'm sure 90%, like you were saying, want some bananas price, something crazy, that's like way more. But we locked up a deal that made $12,000.
Nice.
Yeah, just boom, sold it. I talked to Jeremy, who you talked to, and it was just it's just a different strategy that I think people can consider, because right now you can get the owners' addresses. Right, you can get their phone numbers if you have questions of that, because I know this isn't very common, but skip tracing is what you were mentioning before. Batchskiptracing.com. You put in addresses and they shoot you back the phone numbers, and some extra addresses that they have found the people living in. So the mailing address might not work. Their property address certainly won't work for the vacant land, but they have a third address, which is commonly referred to as the golden address, which is kind of where they reside now.
Nice.
Right? It's kind of a different thing. Anyway, use TTP as a code there. It gets you at 18 cents an address. But you get the accurate phone numbers for them, and you literally can just pick up the phone and call them.
I don't know how many times I could have used that, like trying to figure out how to get through a gate, or the due diligence on properties that I want to buy, calling neighbors and asking them about the stream, about the road, about the, those kinds of things, just calling the neighbors. I don't know if I should be calling the neighbors before I totally buy it, but because those are good people to sell to. But I think it would get rid of a lot of the problems in my due diligence when I buy a good sized dollar property, and then something trains going by something obviously wrong with the property of the neighbors that I couldn't figure out from afar. I couldn't figure out by sending photo people there. I couldn't figure out by talking to the county or talking to whoever. But the neighbors would know. I think that could be magic. To get the deal a lot more accurate.
And that's the whole thing. I mean, it's interesting. We were talking before about how much great information, especially if you're buying a lot in certain counties, how just calling the county and talking to the zoning department guy and talking to whoever's in there in charge of kind of giving you an idea of what what the due diligence is on that piece of land. You build a great relationship with those people. They will literally, I mean, they will tell you, listen, stay away from that because of this, this, and
sometimes they'll let's see if I can change a setting here a sec. So I want to see the chat going by. So FJP saying live from where we're in Glen Park's little park and Carved by the Sea in Southern California. And there's a question here. Redefine Living saying, can I have his number? I want to play too. You calling the neighbors or my number or who's Brent's number?
Yeah.
I don't know if you give out your phone number or not.
No, but you guys can hit me up on Instagram, just under Brent Daniels _ TTP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the pyrotechnics,
number. There you go.
All right.
Yeah. You trying to sell him some land? I mean, he was gonna go blow the side of the mountain open and build a house on the side of the mountain. I mean, it's my aunt's always sending me pictures of those kinds of properties.
Yeah.
She had one in Sete, Sete, I can't pronounce it right, in southern France. It's like a cave house on the side of the hill. And she loved those kinds of things. She's saying, find property like this, find property like this. You know, there's people that love them.
Love it.
There's always people out there that love those properties.
I think it's just a natural instinct. At least, you know, you're talking about France, but I just feel like it's like an American pull to own land. You know what I mean? It's just like
totally
that. You feel like it's that like
That's why our forefathers
freedom.
left
Yeah,
Europe, right?
yeah.
They left.
Well, it's interesting because I talked to my dad before. He's not in real estate at all, not involved at all. He kind of understood what wholesaling was. Now he does better because he works with me. But but before that, I was just talking to him about land, and he's like, "Oh, I would buy land." And I was like, "What do you need land for?" He's like, "I don't know. I just want land." He's just a regular. I mean, he would never, you know. I mean. He has never like talked about land before, and I start talking to my friend and anybody out there that's like getting into this thing. I talk to like my wife's friends' husbands, right?
Yeah.
You're at a dinner party, you're at a barbecue, you're on vacation doing this type of thing. I start talking to them about wholesaling real estate. Their eyes gloss over. They have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. They're like, who is, I have no interest in that. I start talking about land 2 acres that I bought for $70. They're like, what?
How did you?
What?
Doesn't make sense.
Will you tell me more about this land type of thing? So I think, you know, there's just something incredible about it. I'm really enjoying it. We've now done, you know, a few dozen deals in the last, you know, month and a half, and it's been great. Smaller deals for sure.
Learning curve deals. Right?
Yeah, smaller deals for sure. We've run everything through title. We've actually pre-sold all of them.
Which $70 deal through title, did you?
No. No. But you know, just learning this stuff is really, really interesting. I mean, what was your first deal like? You know what I mean? What was that?
I sent out a series of mailers before I got my first deal.
Okay.
And I tried counties like
series, meaning like hundreds or thousands?
Hundreds.
Okay.
And
for anybody out there that's been sending out some,
it's not very many.
Yeah.
When you're doing massive offers.
Yeah.
Mojave County, I started sending out mail because I heard that's the place to do it, and it's easy, and the land's dirt cheap, and you know you can always sell it and everything. So I tried Mojave County, and like the best place in the county is by Lake Havasu. So I try to buy some of that. It's offering like $100 an acre for 1.27 acres. You know, $127. Right?
Why not?
I wrote the letters I printed the letters, but I signed them, and I wrote the envelope by hand, and I wrote the return address by hand, and I put an envelope in there, like a return envelope, like they have to put their own postage on it, but I put a return envelope in there because nobody told me not to.
Right.
It made sense to me, and I sent them out, and I got 40% response rate, like through the mail, email, phone call, fax. Like people really got back to me on those. They all said how crazy I was because the prices were so off.
Oh, they were mad.
Yeah, I didn't get any deals.
Yeah.
But they got back to me, and so I knew I just had to change something to make this work because they actually read their mail.
Yeah.
And they pay attention to these letters. And so change, and I sent out letters to San Bernardino County, 29 Palms area. They have all these 5-acre properties. Some of them have old slabs on them where there used to be a house. And I offered $500 for 5 acres. Still $100 an acre, but a $500 minimum, right? And first guy that said yes was in Beverly Hills. He got back to me with Beverly Hills address, and he said, yeah, but you got to buy two of them. I'm like, what do you mean I have to buy two? He's like, I own the one next door. You got to buy both of them.
For $1,000.
$1,000. Okay.
For 10 acres.
Yeah.
And
10
29
acres.
palms.
Yeah. $500 each.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, about fell out of my chair. I didn't believe it. And I sold the first one I sold for $4,500, and I sold it to a nice couple from northern Michigan. And I knew the area they were coming from. I'm from northern Michigan too, and I posted on the internet, and they were out there looking for land, and that was the cheapest thing out there by a country mile, and they grabbed it, took off with it, and they were so happy. I don't remember what the other one sold for. It doesn't matter. That first one paid for both of them.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to pay $200 to get a notary in Beverly Hills.
Oh, that's market. Yeah, that's the market.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever paid that much for
Oh
notary since.
man, that is crazy. Yeah.
I paid $750 for notary one time in middle of nowhere, New Mexico. Guy drove from, it was like an 8-hour drive out in the middle of nowhere to collect a signature.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was your first deal.
That was my first
And then you
deal.
just started. What year was that?
2015.
Wow.
Redefine living. I bought one of those from you. Here's one of the buyers.
Yeah.
I bought one of those from you. Still the best price I've seen. I'm happy. Yeah, I don't know what I charged for you, 5 acres and 29 palms, but it's like, how many times could I do it? I went back and offered $600, $800, $1,000. I got more properties every time. I think I even offered $1,500 one time, and I got some properties. I mean, they totally sell, and it's a nice area for properties.
Yeah.
It's really easy, easy beginner land, and just
when you're buying these properties, do you pay the property taxes like right away? I mean, I guess it just depends on if it's if it's what is it, a lien state or a deed state, right? Tax lien, tax deed.
Yeah, I mean, if
right,
it's,
California is rough, right? You miss it like they go pretty quick, because in Arizona you have 3 years before they can start the foreclosure process.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on, there's different variables.
Yeah.
It depends how much money I have.
Yeah.
It depends on if I'm doing it in someone else's account, how much money they have.
Got it.
It depends on, how far away from foreclosure is it? I mean, some of these properties I'm getting, they have back taxes, and it's like, I got to pay them right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've called the counties before while I'm buying them. I've paid taxes before I've bought the property before, just to make sure that it doesn't get taken away.
Yeah.
I don't tell the person I'm buying the property from that, but it depends on the deal. Some of the Hawaiian ones I had were so back taxed. They were like, it was 1 acre in Hawaiian Ocean View, right? The taxes and fees go just like slot machine on those things. And
I like that slot machine.
I
feel that way.
Backwards,
I feel like
right?
my kids are like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got the guy at the county, and he said, "Oh, Luke Smith again, right?" Yeah. It's like, how many of these are you buying? Oh, I worked out a deal with him. I promised I was going to pay him as soon as the deal was closed, and he held off foreclosing on him for a couple months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
He was really nice.
Yeah.
Then he told me later, he's like, we don't get around to actually doing that for a long time anyway. I thought he was being really
thought
nice.
he was gonna. Oh man. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
He should have just let you stay in your, bliss.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Depends on the county. They're very different.
Got it. Yeah, that's what we've been looking at is, but we've been running through title with a lot of them. Even the small ones, which they've just chewed it up. So we've been working to just close them ourselves and go through that process. But I came from a background. I got my real estate license in 2004.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I didn't even know you could buy properties without going through title companies.
Yeah.
Right? Like I thought that was the thing. I mean,
if you want to get your commission, you should take your client through title.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean,
That's
what the funniest thing about title is. This is the funniest thing about title. Title makes you pay title insurance, right?
Yeah.
They are ensuring that they did their job right.
Yeah.
That's what title insurance is.
Yeah. And then,
you paid them to make sure that when it transfers, it transfers clean to you.
Yeah.
But then they make you pay insurance that they did their job right.
Yeah.
It's so
And then
bananas.
you go actually read through the paperwork that they
Right.
send you and all the exclusions in there.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you don't tell us about these liens, then we're not going to insure. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I'm buying the insurance because I don't know about the
The
liens,
liens.
if what's out there, right?
Yeah.
Just before we started this call, we were talking about liens on properties, and Brent was asking, you know, are you taking these all through title and find the liens?
Yep.
And I took a class, um, a my language is really bad. Why
Sure.
can't I think of the name of it? The person who title an abstract.
Like, okay.
I took an abstracting class, and you can do it online. You don't need a license or anything to be a
Really?
title abstractor. Yeah, it's totally like
I'm writing that
open.
down right now.
The one I got, I forget the name of the one I got, but
Yeah.
it was like $180.
Yep.
And the guy answers the phone. He like answers questions about title. There were other title classes that you could take. They were like $50, but it was just like you buy it and you get an ebook kind of thing.
Yep.
But this one was like videos,
Love
and they
it.
walk you through. They go to the county and they show you how to do it and how to abstract title, read through old deeds, and figure out where you're at.
Awesome.
And I took that class, and I don't think I learned that much, but one of the things I did learn was that the recorders keep a lien book that's separate from like the recordings. And so you can go through the lien book. Some counties, they have it online. You
Yep.
usually have to ask, like,
Yep.
hey, is this person in the lien book?
Yep.
Is this property in the lien book? And if you ask about that, some of the counties will help you and point things out.
Yeah.
So like the
Interesting.
only thing I've ever really found in there is like child support. Someone
Yeah.
doesn't pay child support. That one seems to show up more than anything else I've seen for the kinds of properties that I get into. And numerous cases, I've called the child support agency and said the guy doesn't own the land anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and does the lien still need to be there? And they're like, no, and they just take it away.
Yeah. Got it.
It's not
Yeah.
even a lien that sticks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like there's old mortgages and old stuff. If you're buying land from like an old land dealer, which I've run into numerous times, I'll make offers, and then some a wife or a kid or grandkid or something gets back to me from an old land dealer from way back in time,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got all these random properties that they didn't sell or they sold on terms.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might have sold on terms 15 times, and they took it back and they took it back and they took it back. I've always been really scared of those kinds of title histories.
Oh
you know?
gosh.
Because you
Heck
got
yeah.
properties that don't really sell.
Coming
and you got-
back. Coming back.
yeah,
Coming
you got
back.
screwy title, like stuff like
Yeah.
that. Stay out of those.
Okay. That's great advice. Yeah.
Ones where people are dead, like where they're somebody's passed on. It's not every place. Like some places it's easier to process dead people land than others. Like I'm taking some through probate in California right now. I'm paying for the probate process and things because I think the deal looks like it's worth it.
Mm.
And it's easier to lock the properties
That's
up.
a few
under
grand though.
auctions.
A couple grand? What's it cost you? In Phoenix, it's like I think we pay our guy like $3,200 to help
Really?
with probate. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a paralegal girl
Mm-hmm.
that's doing them. We're testing her out, and it's looking like 1,600-ish.
Oh, nice.
With the court fees and everything.
That's awesome. Unless it gets hairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the property is definitely worth it.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it.
Good.
It just takes like 3 months,
Yep. Yeah.
So
Takes time.
yeah, so you got to price that into. But the way I got the paperwork set up, I don't have to pay for the property until the probate closes.
Yeah.
Probate all works and everything.
It's awesome.
So yeah, but I forgot where I was. Looking at title. Like,
Yeah.
You can do it yourself. There's a lot.
How
It's
long
just
does
really
it take you
basic.
now per property? Say you get 30 deals come back, right? You sent out mail, boom, 30. You got it. You're looking at it.
Yeah.
Like, what is you're looking at this signed contract. Now, what do you do?
I've got this database software system that I'm really proud of. I got this crow going off.
He's excited.
He wants to buy some land.
Yeah.
Wholesale some real
That's
estate.
right.
I got this software set up that I didn't have in the past that makes it a lot easier. So I get it into the software, and the software has my old mailers in the background, and it pulls all the data from the mailers.
It's got a
that I sent out.
database of all your addresses.
Everything I sent out.
Yeah.
Sometimes I pull up the property and it's
This
like,
is something you made?
yeah.
Awesome.
Sometimes I pull up the
Do you
property.
sell it?
No, I just want to make more money off of it.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
By doing more deals.
Yeah.
So I'll pull up the property and it's like, oh, actually I made 3 different offers on this property over time. I offered 5 grand a couple years
Mm,
ago, and then I offered 10 grand, then I offered 30 grand. They finally took my 30 grand offer.
yep.
And the property's worth 100 grand plus or something. Um, it's like, wish they would have taken that 5 grand.
Yeah.
But now they're finally taking it. But I got all this information right at
Yeah.
my fingertips that's there and stuff. And I start pulling it up online. I pull up pictures, satellite pictures, lot lines.
Yeah.
I start looking for access. I start looking at the market to see if it's really economic.
Yep.
I mean, usually the economics of the offers I'm sending out, I got pretty down before I send the offers out, but I still double check to make sure. And I do a lot of them in the same area, so I know the area and usually got a pretty good idea right off the cuff if this is something I want to run with or not. But I'm looking for access, and then I'll go look at the title. Like, does the person actually own it? So even when I'm taking them through title,
Yeah.
it's such a waste of time
Right.
to like go
Yeah.
take them into
Yeah.
title,
Yeah.
and then the title agent gets back to you and says, you know, their grandpa died like 30 years ago, and then they gave it to their kid, and who died, and they gave it to this person who's calling you back. Like, what do you want me to do with it? We're wasting the title's time. I'm
Yeah.
wasting my time. I'm
Yeah.
wasting the seller's time. Wasting everybody's time.
Yeah.
So just being able to go read the title and say, okay, we're gonna need this kind of paperwork, because I've done so many of them on my own before title. I get
Yeah.
to know what paperwork. Um,
So it's
I
just
think
experience.
that cuts it down a lot.
That's incredible.
And
Yeah.
if you're starting out, you just go with the simplest, easiest ones. The easiest. They want more money for fees.
That's right.
The crows are chasing.
I think the
us.
title company sent the crows. They weren't happy with
They
my.
want us to bag on title. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, title. So I've done a lot of them through title.
Yeah.
And done a lot of them not through title. And recently, I've had a lot of people, not a lot, but recently I've had a lot of refunds. And I believe when you do title and you buy it through title, you sell it through title, the chances of refunds or lawsuits or anyone ever coming back to you,
Yeah.
especially if you sell it to a real estate agent, is like zero,
Yeah.
or unless you're being really shisty about something,
Right.
it's pretty much zero, right?
Yeah.
But I don't. I sell them with credit cards. I sell them with checks. With some people drop off cash.
Mhm.
I mean, it's all kinds of things. And they trust me. A lot of people trust me to go buy the property before they've seen it
Yeah.
and before they've totally figured it out. And they come back and they say, I figured something out that you didn't present, which is like, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to buy some other property, or they want to trade it for some other property, or they want a refund until they find some other property. And so I've given a lot of refunds. In one particular county recently, the county started harping on me.
Yeah.
The assessor started sending letters to everybody I sold land to in the last while in that
What?
county. Yeah. And so maybe people on the live call or just got one of these letters, but they've been calling the county back, calling the assessor about these letters, and the assessor has been, I think, slanderous
Yeah.
about me.
Yeah.
And so the people call me back and like, what's going on? I explain what's going on, and my the law has changed in this county, and so there's new laws about how you can develop the land, what you have to do to develop the land, and that I didn't present to people, and so I've been giving them refunds.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been
Sure.
offering them refunds, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the vast majority of those people still want to keep the land, and they understand the laws change, and I presented it the best of my knowledge, the best that I could, and but I'm trying to keep up my name and reputation and everything. Sure. So some of the people are frustrated, which is totally understandable, and I've been offering them refunds.
Good.
So there's double side.
Well, that's a long-term play. You know what I mean? That's just a long-term. The reputation. I mean, you could not, right? And and deal with it, I guess. But long-term, it's just better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But if you're new and you're starting out,
yeah,
use title. Like you could keep the deals a lot cleaner, and you don't have to worry about a lot of the other stuff if you use title. If you keep it through title, that's what I'm trying to say. So if you're going and you're doing these not through title, there's another aspect to it. I don't think it's that I'm selling a messy paperwork that they don't own the land or anything like that. I don't have any question there. They own the land. It's about their understanding and uses of the land and the presentation that I gave of that land. And the learning curve that I have from this is that I should be doing more disclosures, like a lot of the real estate industry does. I see where all these disclosures are coming from. That, you know, just like the comment that just went by
do
here.
your due diligence. Yeah,
it's their fault for not doing their homework. Yes, I totally agree.
Well, go buy a house, and there's like
The stack of
17 pages of disclosures.
Yeah.
Like literally in Phoenix, I mean, there's 6. I mean, Arizona, there's 6 pages of seller
Yeah.
property disclosure. There's a 15-page buyer beware. Here's all the different resources you can
Yeah.
use to look up things. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe institute that. I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah.
that scares away
Yeah.
buyers, or if they don't care, or if it's just too much hassle. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
interesting. It's
So
really
more
interesting.
disclaimers.
Yeah.
More, that particular county, I'm going to integrate it into the videos and presentations in the future.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be on the phone with the assessor of that county sometime today, and you called.
Oh no.
That's
Yeah.
fine. But
this conversation is going to be better than that.
Yeah, I'm sure. This one's been rude to me in the past. We'll see. She's probably watching
Land
the
is
video.
fun though, man. I mean, you put out a couple videos a day, really.
Yeah.
You're putting out
it's
like really great stuff. I mean, you've got a great channel going. I think it's important. I think that there is a small niche of people that will either want to buy land. Well, I think it's big. I don't even think it's a niche of people that want to buy it, but people that want to be people that want to buy and sell land, that get excited by doing deals, that get excited by learning different counties and different things. And really, I think once you get going, I think the biggest thing is just taking action and start
Totally.
sending out mailers.
Yeah.
Start, if you're driving, some of the best land deals that we've ever done before I even started getting into like the what I would consider raw land, or kind of rural stuff, is lots inside subdivisions. I mean, we've made a killing on some of these where we just called up the owner, and it's really interesting when you call in town, right?
Yeah.
It's one of two things: either they want 10 times its value, or they want nothing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, because it's easy
fees,
to.
They got. They're like, they don't want to pay the water fee anymore.
Yeah. Well, and some of it,
Totally
they just, they're done. Just take the land. It's in a rougher area, or it's, we're never going to develop it, but we want this price. And right now, you can get great prices for land in town. So that's where we've found the biggest deals that we've gotten, was the stuff that's in town.
Yeah.
And then we slim that down about 50 to 75% for the stuff that's like 45 minutes on the bubble. And then outside, that stuff's like 2,500, 3,000, 1,800, a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
But they're just smaller deals as opposed to some of the bigger stuff inside. But I think even if you're just starting out, you could get the information of a lot in your neighborhood, or just driving around if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to start, I think.
I think that's great. I think Brent's here on vacation with his family.
Yeah.
I don't think we should keep him too
Yeah,
long.
I gotta get going soon.
I see his wife calling on his phone.
Yeah, she's blowing me up. My in-laws just came into town, so it's like, this has been wonderful, but I have to get to the beach. But yeah.
See, so Mitten says, "Wow, that is cool." Angela knew. Okay, you guys going back and forth talking to each other on the chat.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody that's come on last second. Notice.
That's right, Angela.
Exactly. Time to fix the hair. Go see the in-laws.
Yeah, I gotta put a smile on.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching this live. Guys that watch it later on the recorded version, I'll put a link to Brent's YouTube channel, and any other things I should link to. You said your Instagram. Maybe I'll put an Instagram link in there.
Yeah. It's all in there in my YouTube channel. Check it out.
So I'll link from mine to his after the recorded version comes out of this. And thank you. Thanks.
And if you're watching it later, comment down below if you want us to do this again. I think it'd be fun. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, it's just impromptu, last minute kind of thing, but I think there's a lot to learn from each other.
Yeah.
Like my mind's just going off, and you're talking about calling people around the neighborhoods. When I do one of these deals, and it's a good deal, I mean, I should be following up with, so I already have the data of who else owns that land in the area. And I should be doing skip tracing stuff like you're talking about and calling the people around that property. Like
Yep.
I just sold one for, I know what I sold it for. Um, Finding the next one and being able to make a really educated decision on whether I should be buying the one next door and the next to that and up the street and around and around. So I think this is a parlay off of what I'm already doing that makes a lot of sense to me. And
Yeah.
thank you.
And you can hire people to do it if you have
Yeah,
the
there you
budget.
go.
You can hire
them
people to
too.
do it that, like, I'm not calling these people. I have people calling for them. They send in the leads, and then we look at them, and there we go. Do we lock them up or not,
Yeah.
type of thing. So
It's even better.
there's options there. But if you're just starting out, yeah, you can certainly pick up the phone and talk to people. That's
Talk
what
to
it's all
people.
about. Quality conversations with distressed property owners. That is the key to sourcing deals. There you go.
Thanks, guys.
All right, see you guys. You guys
Signing
are
out.
awesome.
Thank
This is
you.
fun.
Bye.
It was cool.